You need to hear this if you're a horror fan. This is not just another ghost story. It's a chilling tale that will make you think twice before you look into a mirror again. Mirrors have always been objects of fascination and fear. They reflect our world, but what if they also reflect something else? Something sinister, lurking just beyond the glass. Mirrors are more than they seem. They have been used in countless horror stories and legends, often as portals to other dimensions or as tools for summoning spirits. But what if the truth is even more terrifying? What if mirrors are gateways to a parallel world, a world where our reflections have lives of their own? Just ask Emily. Late one night, Emily was getting ready for bed when she noticed something strange in her bathroom mirror. It was a typical evening and she was following her usual routine. She had just finished washing her face and was about to brush her teeth when she saw it. A shadow moved behind her, but when she turned, nothing was there. She felt a chill run down her spine, but she tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination. After all, it had been a long day, and she was tired. She shook it off as fatigue. She had been working late and was exhausted. She told herself that she was just seeing things because she was so tired, but deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As she brushed her teeth, she glanced back at the mirror. She couldn't help it. She felt drawn to it, as if something was compelling her to look, and that's when she saw it again. This time, her reflection smiled back at her, only she wasn't smiling. Her heart skipped a beat. She stared at the mirror, unable to believe what she was seeing. Her reflection was grinning at her, a sinister, almost mocking smile. Her heart raced. She rubbed her eyes and looked again. She hoped that it was just a trick of the light or her tired eyes playing tricks on her. But when she looked again, her reflection was back to normal. Her reflection had gone back to normal. She let out a sigh of relief, but the unease lingered. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She decided to go to bed and try to forget about it. Feeling uneasy, Emily climbed into bed, but sleep wouldn't come. She tossed and turned, her mind racing with thoughts of what she had seen. She kept replaying the moment in her head, trying to make sense of it. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "I see you." Her blood ran cold. She stared at the message, her heart pounding in her chest. Who could it be, and how did they know what she had seen? Panicking, she texted back, "Who is this?" Her hands were shaking as she typed the message. She waited, her eyes glued to the screen, her mind racing with fear and confusion. The reply was instant. "Look in the mirror." Her heart skipped a beat. She felt a wave of terror wash over her. She didn't want to look, but she felt compelled to. It was as if the message had some kind of power over her. Terrified, she stood up and walked to the bathroom. Her legs felt like lead, and her heart was pounding in her chest. She felt like she was in a nightmare, but she couldn't wake up. She reached the bathroom and hesitated, her hand trembling as she reached for the light switch. When she looked in, her reflection was there, but this time, it was stepping out of the mirror, a sinister grin spreading across its face. She felt a scream rising in her throat, but no sound came out. She was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak. Frozen in fear, Emily couldn't move as it reached for her. She watched in horror as her reflection stepped out of the mirror, its eyes gleaming with malice. It reached out a hand, and she felt a cold, clammy touch on her skin. The last thing she heard was her own voice whispering, "Let me in." The words echoed in her mind, and she felt a strange sensation, as if she was being pulled into the mirror. She tried to resist, but it was no use. She felt herself being drawn into the glass, her vision blurring as she was pulled into the darkness. The next morning, her family found only her reflection in the mirror, smiling sweetly, as if nothing had happened. They called out to her, but there was no response. They searched the house, but she was nowhere to be found. All that was left was her reflection, smiling back at them from the mirror. Remember, sometimes your reflection is more than just a reflection. It might be waiting. So the next time you look into a mirror, be careful. You never know what might be looking back at you. And if you ever see something strange, don't ignore it. It might be a warning, or it might be something far more sinister. Mirrors have a way of revealing the truth, but sometimes the truth is more terrifying than we can imagine. Emily's story is a chilling reminder that we should never take our reflections for granted. They are more than just images. They are windows into another world, a world that we may not fully understand. So the next time you look into a mirror, remember Emily's story, and be careful, because you never know what might be looking back at you. This tale is not just a story, it's a warning. Mirrors have been used for centuries in rituals and magic, and there are countless legends about their power. Some say that mirrors can trap souls, while others believe that they can reveal hidden truths. But one thing is certain, mirrors are not to be taken lightly. So the next time you find yourself alone in a room with a mirror, take a moment to think about what you might be seeing. Is it just your reflection, or is it something more? Something that is waiting, watching, and perhaps even plotting? Emily's story is a reminder that we should always be cautious, because sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary secrets. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like Emily's, don't ignore the signs. Trust your instincts and remember that sometimes the most terrifying things are the ones that we can't see. Mirrors are more than just glass and silver. They are gateways to another world, a world that we may never fully understand. So be careful, and always be aware of what might be lurking just beyond the glass. This has been The Reflection, a chilling tale. Remember, sometimes your reflection is more than just a reflection. It might be waiting. Stay safe, and always be cautious when you look into a mirror. You never know what might be looking back at you.